need a podcast, and they need your help. Can you make it onto the wheel? Rob and Akiva need a podcast. Yeah, they'll buy or sell your ideas. They'll talk about it till you got it, you feel. Every weekend, you better attend. You can guess what will be coming up next. Rob and Akiva need a podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Rob and Akiva need a podcast. The non-canonical Rob and Akiva go to Barbenheimer. And now, here are your guys who are kicking off your big movie weekend. I'm Rob Cesternino, and here he is, Akiva Wienerkur.
I saw the meme last night where
The meme?
the mean meme.
Oh, yeah. The mean meme?
I'm Oppenheimer and you're Barbie is what the meme said.
Is it a meme, or is it what happened on this podcast?
I
That
guess,
one ticket
but-
for Oppenheimer, one ticket for Barbie.
I guess. But if first of all, wait, I saw Barbie. You were supposed to see Oppenheimer.
Stop it.
But yeah, I mean, if we had switched, I would have been Barbie, you would have been Oppenheimer. I feel like, you know, I feel like people have been hating on, in that meme, the Oppenheimer versus the Barbie this week.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, I think that you're more of an Oppenheimer guy.
He's saying because I'm Jewish.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like that, it's like a history movie. Are you a Barbie guy? I feel like
I never really played with Barbies. I did have a sister growing up, but I was older than her, so I didn't play with Barbies. I did play with sports action figures.
yes. Okay, like,
I would have,
it's starting lineup, like
starting lineup action exactly, or like Hulk Hogan. Even though I didn't like wrestling as a kid, Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper.
You couldn't really do a lot with them because sometimes they'd be like holding like a bat in their hand, or they'd be like sliding into a base. Like they were very much like fixed. They were more statues than figures.
Yes,
but
the wrestling ones would wrestle, but the sports ones were useless.
The wrestling ones were indestructible. But okay, so let's just set up what we're gonna do here today. Akiva went to go see Oppenheimer last night. I went to go see Barbie on opening night. We'll talk about our experiences, and we'll do some vibes. I don't think we're gonna do heavy spoilers for.
I think we will spoil the movie. I
guess we'll spoil. I guess so.
We're not gonna go beat by beat, but
if you're super spoiler sensitive, but personally, I don't think you could spoil Barbie. But let's see if you're super spoiler.
And I won't spoil World War II.
Yeah, I mean, that looks. I'm gonna binge it, so But if you're super spoiler averse, I understand if you want to come back and listen after you've been to the movies, or if you're gonna go see the movie today or tomorrow, and then you want to come back. That is your prerogative. So we're gonna do that. I think that we'll talk about Oppenheimer first. We'll do it a true an Oppenarby. We got the meats. Yeah.
The episode Barbenheimer, I think, has been the name, right? I think that's probably the episode title name here, but everyone's seeing Oppenheimer first if you're seeing both.
You got to. Come on. I would love to hear from people that go see Barbie first, because
Sam is going right after. He's leaving in a few minutes. He's going to go see it, and he's seeing Oppenheimer first.
Okay, well, let me just set the stage, and then Sam Moore is going to join us here in just a moment. He's patiently standing by if on our call. But let me just say, then, no mailbag for this podcast episode. The mailbag has already been, the wheel has been spun for next week. We're doing area code roulette. That will be next weekend's edition of RHAP. So just a non-canonical Barbenheimer. Yes.
I will put out that at some point, either this weekend, latest Monday morning, I'll put out the form for your phone numbers, and we will call you next weekend.
Okay. And so basically, we're doing a big favor for people, because look, there might be some people like, look, I'm not giving the movie industry. They're not even paying the actors or the writers.
They're on strike.
I'm not giving them my money. It's like, I'm just gonna listen to Rob and Akiva, and then I don't have to spend $30 plus popcorn at the movies. Rob and Akiva are just going to Barbenheimer for me. They're out there. They put in the hard work. They already Barbenheimered. I don't have to go do that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you hear
to-do list.
It's true. You hear like, oh, Barbie's going to make $100 million and Oppenheimer's going to make 50. But you do the math. That means like most people did not go see it, right?
Most people didn't. Yeah. So
there's like 350 million people in this country. That's like 10 million people max who went to it.
Okay, so we are doing a favor for you. So whether you went to go see Oppenheimer this weekend, not interested, or if you did, then hopefully there'll be some things that you appreciate here from our conversation here today. Now, yesterday, Sam Moore said to me that he had some behind the scenes info, some industry dirt about why there even is a Barbenheimer, and he wanted to share some of that with us today on the podcast. Let's welcome in the man who helps me coordinate all of these podcasts. Sam Moore is here. Sam, how are you?
Doing well. Happy Barbenheimer to you and yours.
Yes, we're already celebrating. By the way, a big day for me today, Akiva. So I went to see Barbie last night, and then Fall Out Boy tonight.
Wow, it is a very
what a weekend.
A very early 2000s weekend. Barbie, Fall Out
Is
Boy.
Barbie early 2000s?
I mean, I guess if you were a little kid in the early 2000s.
I guess, but I feel like if you were like, a kid in the 80s,
in any
you
era,
could
that's
just,
true.
Just watch a Barbie.
Everyone knows the Barbies were better by early 2000s.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So Sam, here we go. And so you're going to see Oppenheimer. Was that by choice, or did you see Barbie first?
No, Oppenheimer's first at 2:30, and then Barbie's at 7.
Oh, okay. So Akiva, that's the way you should do it.
Yeah, no, he's doing it right. You have a little quick dinner in the middle.
Exactly.
Although Oppenheimer's 3 hours on the nose, so
that'll be
probably gonna have a lot of snacks.
5:45, 5:50, and then
you might not be hungry.
Credit scene for Oppenheimer, Akiva. That can you let people know?
I ran out the second it ended because we had to catch it was like very late at night. We had to catch like the last bus. So I don't think so. I mean, are they setting up a sequel? He doesn't. First spoiler: he doesn't die at the end of the movie.
Oh,
so
okay.
You know, it's possible they could do another one. I don't know what else he did, but maybe he like invented podcasting or something. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So Sam, tell us about the backstory here on Barbenheimer.
Yeah, when we were talking yesterday, Rob, talking about like how we want this podcast and stuff. I'm like, you know what? There is actually probably like interesting production stuff with this that I'd heard about over the last couple of years. Like, okay, let me just come on and talk about that. I wouldn't have seen either of the movies, but we could rewind all the way back to 2020. It's COVID times.
Oh boy,
oh, no.
Here we go.
I know. So
Sam loves talking about COVID.
Oh yeah, one of my most favorite subjects. So did either of you guys hear of or see the movie Tenet that Christopher Nolan last directed?
Christian Hubicki just brought it up the other day, but I did not see it.
No, I've heard of it, but yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I heard it was complicated.
It was. I personally felt way too stupid for that movie. I did not understand it even in the slightest. So Christopher Nolan made it. It was coming out the summer of 2020. That was the date. And then COVID happens and it got pushed back. It got pushed back a little bit. Warner Brothers was the studio on that one. And they finally did it in September of 2020. The movies are back September 2020 with Tenet. And that's the big thing. Naturally, no vaccines at the time, social distancing. Movie theaters weren't even open in New York or LA. And they're like, we're still doing it. So that was the big comeback to the movies. People didn't show up because, middle of COVID.
I don't even know what it is. What is it that it sounds like Tenet to me? It's about an apartment.
No, I think it's the same idea. It's about like an old guy in history. George Tenet was like the head of the CIA or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both of you are close, but not even slightly.
That's not it? I thought that's what it's about.
Did George Tenet own the apartment building?
No.
When people say like Akiva speaks so confidently and he's always wrong, like they could clip that one. Where I thought the movie was about George Tenet, the CIA director.
Wait, really?
Oh, it's a sci-fi movie. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, so do you remember Inception? Inception was all about the dream world and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, except with time inversions.
Okay.
So, things are going in reverse and different timelines and so basically that doesn't do particularly well. And Christopher Nolan, since 2002, has made every single movie he's done with Warner Brothers. That's been his studio.
Right.
And
one of our favorite studios.
Yep. Then coming off of that, Warner Brothers says, all right, next year, 2021, we're doing the day and date release where we're going to put a movie in theaters and also on HBO Max. and Christopher
That
Nolan
when it was called
did-
HBO Max. Now it's just
Exactly.
Max.
Yeah. So, they evolved over time.
Mhm.
So Christopher Nolan says, yeah, I don't like that. My movies are made for the big screen. This is a slight to all the directors. So he says, see you later, Warner Brothers. I'm out.
Yeah.
And
they already stopped doing that. Like in hindsight,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah.
oh yeah, like that, there was like immediate pushback. Like by the middle of the year, I think they went to like 45 days in between.
I liked it. I was like, okay, let's do
Oh
it.
yeah, it's perfect for somebody who doesn't like to go to movies, but for people that do, it's like, all right, I'm still gonna try to see the stuff I want to see on the big screen.
Okay.
So yeah, after that, then Christopher Nolan shopping around and ends up with Universal. He goes to make Oppenheimer. They say July 21st, 2023.
And they said, we'll put it on Peacock.
Yeah, that would have really got him going, but nope, they got the date. Great, July 21st, 2023. On the other side, so the Universal did that with Christopher Nolan.
Right.
Warner Brothers, they already had this date. They had like some Looney Tunes movie animated.
Space Jam 3?
I thought it would be. It was called like.
Imagine if we did like Oppentunes or something today. It was like
Yeah.
Oppenheimer and Looney Tunes. That would be funny. Looney
Coyote versus Acme. So I don't even know.
Where is that? Did that come
Development
out?
hell.
They apparently filmed it and they're waiting on a release date now. So that was what was originally on July 21st, 2023. So Warner Brothers already had that.
Is it live action, Coyote versus Acme?
It says it's a hybrid.
Okay.
So who's in it?
Do we know who played Coyote?
Will Forte plays Wile E. Coyote's attorney.
Oh, okay.
And John Cena is the Acme Corporation's CEO.
Boy.
So
More on John Cena to come.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Today? Oh, wow. I didn't even notice him in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I know.
Is he Oppenheimer?
Yeah. You missed him? Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they eventually scrap that. That's in development hell. I don't even know where that one stands. And then they say, they're still smarting a little bit from Christopher Nolan leaving them. We're putting Barbie on July 21st, 23 too. So all this starts because Warner Brothers is pissed at Christopher Nolan for leaving them. So they put Barbie on the same day as Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Wow.
I mean, but this is just to make Christopher Nolan mad. I feel like that because it's a weird phenomenon that I feel like that whoever started Barbenheimer, like I feel like it's an internet meme or whatever. But I feel like that both movies are going to make like twice as much money because people started talking about Barbenheimer.
So much free publicity,
Absolutely.
especially in a week where their stars can't do any publicity.
If it was just Oppenheimer this weekend, I think very soft opening.
Yeah.
Just Barbie, I don't know. I think it would probably be fine. But
It'd be a hit,
for whatever reason,
$100 million. Yeah.
the combination of the two, like maybe that like more studios should be doing this. Maybe Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny needed some other movie to open up against it.
What about like the Jennifer Lawrence movie?
No Hard
Like, yeah,
Feelings
they
and Dial of Destiny. They basically they were 1 week apart. And
Yeah,
No,
I do think it's a Twitter meme. I think like I do think it started on Twitter, and for whatever it was like 6 months ago. Also, it really like people were making jokes, and then but you felt it last night. I don't know if you felt it in the theater, and we don't go to the theater like every week, but it was very crowded. The theaters were crowded. The concession lines were insane.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed busy for like a Thursday at 6 p.m. when I was there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, not that I went to like a crazy theater near me. Okay,
no,
all right.
I thought that like it ends up like being a huge hit for both studios, but I think it was interesting that it all started as like even being like a percentage of just Warner Brothers being petty, like screw you, Christopher Nolan, and also like Barbie had been in development hell. It's been in talks since like 2009.
Right. This was like an Amy Schumer movie like 5 years ago.
Amy Schumer in like the mid 2010s, like 2015. And then, Greta Gerwig signed on, Margot Robbie signed on, and there started to be some traction there. And then it just probably, over the last 6-7 months as people were realizing like, trailers were hitting, they're actually coming out on both days. The whole Barbenheimer trend starts going. And then there was also like about a month ago, Tom Cruise was all upset with Christopher Nolan for taking all the big screens away from Mission Impossible, which I think help add to the fun as well.
Yeah. Look, I think that Tom Cruise could have used a Barben Reckoning Part 1. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
What
right. Is
about
there anything
Mission?
else?
I got it for Tom Cruise
Yeah.
next time they do it. Mission Kim Possible. The Kim Possible movie comes out the same week as the next Mission Impossible movie, and we're
I
golden.
like it. I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sam,
That's
anything else
basically
about
how we got here, and just thought it was fun to give some background. And personally, I just enjoyed the pettiness of it all.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you for giving us that backstory. But we got 2 movies to talk about here. So
Go for it. I'm seeing both today, so I'm actually gonna head on out. You know, I'm already seen them, so I don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah, we won't spoil you, but let us know. Let us know which one you like better, and give us your
Will do.
ratings after.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. All right, Akiva. So let's talk about Oppenheimer. Do you ever at your job leave a meeting because you don't want to get spoiled?
It's not outside the realm of possibility since I work in sports. If there was like
Do you
a
ever
game
say
that
to
was
your
on a
boss like,
holiday,
"Hey, all right, look, I don't want to get spoiled, so I'm leaving.
it's not. I've never said it, but it's not. I do
I'm
think
leaving
eventually.
to go to the movies."
Yeah. Listen, it's a good gig. I'd want to, everyone wants to work for Rob. Like, don't spoil me. All right, I'm out of here. I got to go see 2 movies. I'll
Two
speak to you
movies
tomorrow
to go see on a
A
weekday.
workday.
Yeah.
All right, Sam's got a good life.
Mhm.
Yeah. I hadn't, but now that I think about it, I did leave yesterday to go to the movies, but it was at like 6:00. It wasn't at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, I went at 6:00 also after business hours. Yeah. All right. So Oppenheimer, Uncle Kiwi. How do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So let me just say, so we were, I knew that you were not gonna have the time or really interest in seeing Oppenheimer. So that's how we came up with
It
me
was a
seeing
chore
Oppenheimer.
to get the Barbie, not
I know.
anything
I
about Barbie,
appreciate
just that it is that we are a 1-car household. That I for the most part like don't go anywhere, don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So but then Nicole is constantly like running errands during the day, which is also like, hey, like this is the ideal time I want to be home. But that being said, so when I have to get somewhere, and it's especially like in the middle of the day, I need to so I had to Uber both ways to the movie theater.
I like
Yeah.
the dedication. I know it wasn't exact. You have a very busy weekend. You're coming off a busy weekend last
Shout
week.
out to the woman who picked me up at the movie theater at the end of the night. I was like, "Oh, you're the what'd you go see?" I was
Oh,
like,
you mean she saw a movie, or she asked
No,
you?
she picked me up at the movie theater by
Oh,
myself.
because I
She was
thought maybe
like,
she
"Oh,"
watched the movie and then Ubered home, but got
she's
paid
like, "So
for
what'd
it.
you see?" And I said, "Oh, Barbie." And she said,
What'd
"Did you
you
meet
say?
people?" I'm like, no.
Did you tell her about the podcast?
She had some questions. Yes, yes. I told her maybe she'll listen.
Did you sell her on the idea that you weren't like a total freak by the end, or you don't think so?
I tried to, but maybe I doth protest too much because she's like, "Wait, what's the podcast?" I'm like, "So me and my friend, we have a wheel of
We
ideas.
have a wheel. I told
We
you never
spin
say
the
the wheel."
and then she's like, "Wait, but that what is this?" Like, yeah, there's a wheel, and I don't know. It was complicated.
Next time, just say I lost my fantasy football league and it's a dare.
Oh, okay. All right.
See 10
So,
movies by myself.
all right. Akiva, how was your night with Oppenheimer?
Okay, so knowing that and that we weren't going to see Barbie, I did, of course, what everyone's doing this week, and I took my daughter to the movie theaters. But we did not go see Barbie. We went to see. I took my second daughter, my 14-year-old daughter. We went to see Oppenheimer. Now,
Was there a false pretense? Did she think you were going to see Barbie?
No, she knew we weren't. She even told me she had already lent her friend a pink shirt who was going to see Barbie with her family. So she knew about Barbie. But that
Did
wasn't
people dress up for Oppenheimer? I saw a
No.
lot. There's a lot of people dressed up for Barbie.
No, but they should wear his hat because his hat is very prominent in the movie. If you want to check out his hat, but no,
Adorable.
nobody. There were a lot of people in pink at the theater, but not in my theater. The Barbie was playing all day. It was Thursday, so there was like a one premiere of Oppenheimer, but there was like 10 showings of Barbie.
Okay.
So we had the chance, if I had left work early, to go to Barbie. And we almost went afterwards, the 12:20 at night showing, but it just logistically, like you, 1 car. I didn't have it. I was coming from work, so it would have been. I actually texted my wife during Oppenheimer, and I said, like, if we see Barbie right after this, will you just pick us up at 2 a.m.? And she wrote back, absolutely not. Good night.
Yeah,
So
that's what I would
all right,
say.
yeah. So I thought it was like bonding with my daughter, but no, she was not coming out. To be fair, we got.
Was your
sleeping
daughter
kids.
up for midnight
100%.
Barbie?
She was up
Okay.
for anything. She 100% would have gone to see Midnight Barbie.
Mhm.
Midnight Barbie. That could be like a grittier Barbie sequel.
Yeah.
So we went out to eat, and then we went to the theater, and it was crazy. So I can't eat any snacks, so I asked her to get 2 sodas.
Mhm.
And I said, I'll wait. It was a really long line just to get in. So I said, to
Will
get
you
into
treat yourself to a Coke Zero at the movie?
I did. I treated myself to a Coke Zero. And I said, like, I'll wait online and then you'll just come join. But I got to the front of the line and she wasn't there. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to wait on this like 20-minute line again. I'm going to be late. Normally I wouldn't care, but I'm podcasting at this movie. It's a 3-hour movie. Maybe there's no previews. Of course, there were previews. But like,
There is going to be previews.
So I showed my tickets. I texted her. I'm like, all right, I'm C12, you're C13. And I showed the guy, and he scans my code. And he's like, wait, you have 2 tickets? And I'm like, what do you mean? They just do the other barcode. He's like, there is no other barcode. This is the barcode for all your tickets. So he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't want to leave the line. I want to go in. So he's like, tell me what your daughter looks like. I don't know. She's like a blonde 14-year-old girl. They're showing Barbie. There's probably 14,000 of them right now, So I'm like, how else? How should I know who she is? So I said to the guy, can we have a secret code? And he looks at me like I'm insane. He's like, I guess. I'm like, all right, what should the code be? He's like, you have to tell me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why did I suggest the secret code? So I said, what if it's Oppenheimer? And he looks at me, he's like,
well, on the nose.
That is a great idea. He liked it. So she got in. She walked up there later and said Oppenheimer and got in without her ticket. So yeah, so
it's like making
Oppenheimer's
the password 12345.
I know, but I figured like it was the first thing I thought of. It was like I was embarrassed I suggested this. The conversation's happening in 2 different languages, and I'm like, all right. So anyway, she gets in, but she did not know anything about the movie. I mean, like not even a bomb, who Oppenheimer was, what it was, a period piece, nothing. Like came in fully blind. In hindsight, maybe I should have told her that like anti-American, like the UAC or something, like communist activity in the 1950s. But no, she came in, or who was on what side in World War II. She came in totally blind to the movie.
Communists? There's communists in Oppenheimer?
A lot. It's like one of the main things. So
oh my God, I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's like, all right. So basically, here's Oppenheimer. There's 3 things going on at the same time, okay?
Yeah.
Number 1, there's a hearing, and you find out it's whether, we'll call him Oppie for short, okay?
Yeah.
Whether Oppie should keep having his security clearance. This is in like the early 50s.
Yeah.
After the war.
Okay.
Like, can he still keep a security clearance? Then there's a congressional hearing. This is a lot of the movie. Like a congressional hearing for Robert Downey Jr. And it's in black and white. He's like the bad guy, RDJ.
Yeah,
and
I thought Hitler was the bad guy.
Well, Hitler's the bad guy, but this is after the war. Hitler is dead like pretty early in the movie. We could get into that, but like, yeah. So RDJ is like is sort of the local bad guy. All his scenes are in black and white. They aged him up.
Did you like that? Did you like that they did it in black and white? Because you hate black and white.
Yeah, most of the movie is in color, but RDJ, I guess he's like the bad guy or whatever. So he's in front of Congress.
Come out to the theater. You can only see Christopher Nolan in IMAX, and then in black and white. Come on,
black and white. Yeah, no, I hear
you. They should give you some money back for that because you paid for full color, right?
Full color, and they gave me only 2/3 color. It's true.
Yeah.
So you'd think like, oh, this is a movie about the atomic bomb, but a lot of the movie gets spent on.
And I thought it was like about the bomb and like bomb camp.
But yeah, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to bomb camp. So a lot of it is RDJ, who is not Oppenheimer, who like just has a relationship with Oppenheimer, but isn't like really central to the rest of the movie. Having a basically he has been appointed to Truman's cabinet, and they are voting on whether he's going to be approved or not by Congress.
And Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
RDJ, whether he'll be approved to be Commerce Secretary. So you're like, oh wow, Commerce Secretary in the 1950s.
Wow, big stakes.
Now I'm sure you have charts about this probably, like Chester, but nobody had been rejected in like decades as the president's pick for his cabinet. So there were big stakes. And then it doesn't start off being the main part of the movie, but ultimately the main part of the movie is what you'd expect. Oppenheimer going through his life. We meet him. He's already like in Europe as an academic, and like he just will go to a new country for a few weeks and like learn the language. Super genius, very smart guy, Oppie.
So
right?
smart. Yeah.
And we're flashing back and forth a lot during the movie. So we see him and a younger RDJ. And this is black and white because we usually see RDJ in black and white.
He's only in black and white?
I'm not sure we ever see RDJ in color. I'd have to think about it. Maybe we do. I'm not sure. But I wanted to take notes, but it's very hard to take notes.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in Oppenheimer. Like if I was on my phone in Barbie, I don't think anybody would have been mad.
Oh, I got some messages from you during Barbie, but
I was actually messaging with Chester.
Yeah. But I really wanted to take notes because I had some funny comments in my head, and hopefully I'll remember them.
Yeah.
So anyway, he is applying what appears to be like
Were there a lot
Princeton,
of jokes in Oppenheimer? Were there some like some light
I would say
moments?
I'd say there was about 8 to 10 laughs from the
Okay.
from the theater,
Hey, that's more than you thought you were getting.
Yeah, probably more than the George Tenet movie.
Mhm.
So he well, probably less than Barbie. So anyway, you see them there at a college. It says Princeton, New Jersey, so I assumed it was a Princeton college, but really it's at some like government agency or something that's in charge of science or nuclear secrets. And RDJ is trying to convince Oppenheimer post-war to be like the head of this organization.
Okay.
And they're looking out the window, and who do they see? An old guy with like crazy white hair.
Einstein.
It's Albert freaking Einstein is in this movie.
Okay.
And I won't say my daughter asked me if it was really Einstein, but someone sitting next to me asked me if it was really Einstein.
Yeah. Did a famous actor play Einstein?
Yeah, I don't know who played Einstein. That's a good question.
People love Einstein.
Gary Oldman plays Harry Truman.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was it's also very easy. I feel like there's probably more people who look like Einstein than most famous people. You just got to get the crazy hair.
Yeah. He has the best PR of any scientist, Einstein. People like talk about like, oh, that guy's an Einstein. People love it. It's like people like I remember people have like posters of Einstein, like with his tongue sticking out. People love that guy.
Yeah, Tom Conti. I've never heard of him. Was one-time Oscar nominee for Reuben. Reuben, best actor, 1983.
Is that about the sandwich?
It's about the sandwich. No, it's about a Welsh poet. The 80s, there was nothing going on. There would just be a lot of Scottish and Welsh poets, and they'd make movies about them, and they get all the Oscars.
Einstein never got his own movie, though.
There should be an Einstein. But anyway, he's in this movie, but he's sort of like washed Einstein, it was like Jordan owning the Hornets. Like he's not on the team of people doing the bomb stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he was over the hill? He was washed up by then?
Yeah, he's washed already at
when
this
was
point.
Peak Einstein? I thought
I think the 20s and 30s were peak Einstein. By the 40s, there's some new cats in town that are, calling the shots in the science department.
When was peak Einstein?
Good question. I was wondering that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he already looks like 1,000. Yeah. It's funny. We only think of Einstein, like the pictures of him we have, as an old person, right? I've never seen like a picture of young Einstein. It's always the same.
Young Einstein. I mean, that should be put it on CBS right now.
Well, they have baby Einstein. Like
baby Einstein. Yeah, but it's not really about the guy. It's not like like Einstein as a kid. So yeah, here's an article from Medium from 2015. Maybe Einstein did peak at 30. Has Chester does he have a chart of that Einstein's top years ranked?
I think he should do it. I do think it's a good idea. I think Einstein and Edison. Yeah, we should. I want Einstein and Edison movies next year.
Yeah.
So as RDJ's watching, Oppie goes over and talks to Einstein, and basically for the rest of like RDJ's life, or at least like he assumed that they were talking about him, and we don't know. We don't hear the conversation. We see it from RDJ's point of view. Einstein walks away, but we don't know, like, was he recruiting him for something? We don't know what they were talking about for most of the movie. Anyway, a lot of the rest of the movie is in bomb camp. So here's the thing. Oppie is friends with a lot of communists. Mostly
Who plays Oppie?
Oppie is Cillian Murphy.
Okay. What do I know him from?
Someone on the train on the way I was talking to them said Peaky Blinders. They're like, you don't watch Peaky Blinders? I was like, no.
A little bit of a Peaky Blind spot for me.
Yeah, I don't watch Peaky Blinders. He's in a lot of the Nolan movies, but this is his first time where he's like the main man, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Irish, does a pretty good American accent. He does a really good job in this movie. You're staring at his eyes for like half the movie, Cillian Murphy. So he is like a great scientist after Europe. He doesn't like Europe. He goes to Caltech and Cal, and he's a professor. And they're working on some bomb stuff, but he's just like a theory guy. He's not like blowing stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And next door, he knows they're working on some project, but he can't get invited because he knows all these communists, right? So eventually,
Yeah.
He has like a woman he meets, and she drinks, and it's Emily Blunt is his wife, but his like real love is Florence Pugh. You know Florence Pugh?
No. What's she from?
Let's see. What's Florence Pugh? I feel like if you saw her, you'd know her. She's in a lot of things. Florence Pugh is in. Let's see. Page and Fighting with My Family. Black Widow.
No, I didn't see that.
Puss in Boots. You see that one? Last Wish. Puss in Boots.
I believe it's Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots. Father of the Bride Part 3-ish. That's a short film. Okay.
Part 3.
She's in Oppenheimer. I think it's like so I feel like I know her, but now I'm thinking maybe I don't because I have never seen anything she's in. But she's like, I feel like she's like hosted SNL or like she's a famous person. I don't know.
Did she host SNL?
Maybe not. I don't know. In my head, she's
Who
been
is this?
nominated for an
What's her
Oscar.
name? Florence
Florence
what?
Pugh, like the old guard from the New York Giants, who was Tom Coughlin's son-in-law.
Hugh.
Little Women.
Right.
She was nominated for Little Women.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, she is like she's also a communist. Both of his women were or are communists.
Boy, this guy has a type.
He has a type. The difference is Emily Blunt is always wearing clothing. Florence Pugh is like topless the whole movie.
Okay.
No, going in with my daughter, but so yeah, she is topless as long as she's alive. She but that's not for the whole movie.
I don't believe Florence Pugh ever hosted SNL.
Okay, but I feel like she's not Florence from Florence and the Machine. You know, I don't know. I feel like I felt like I knew her from more places because she's like a celebrity. But anyway,
are you thinking of Florence Henderson?
Maybe FloJo, the
FloJo ever hosted SNL?
I mean, it's possible. She died young, much like Florence Pugh's character in this movie.
Yeah, there's a Twitter account asking SNL every day to let the talented Florence Pugh host the show until she does so. But
yes,
I think this petered out in October of 2022.
Oh, so they've given up. There's no. I mean, now it's too bad they're out of season and on strike because this would have been the perfect time. I don't know. Would they have gotten Cillian Murphy? I don't know. But Pugh, it could have been Pugh time. So anyway, he's got these two women, and he goes to these communist parties, and he's into like
communist party.
Yeah, it's parties.
I thought that was just like a figure of speech. I didn't know there was an actual communist party that
they have like. Yeah, there's parties for the communists where they talk about the Communist Party. Is basically what they were saying. So.
Fraternity. It's like, hey, like they hand out flyers. Yeah. It's like, hey, a free beer, come to our. And like, oh, okay. And
then all beer should be free. They're saying, basically.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so eventually they realize like this guy's too good at science. We can't let his like communist things. Like we don't really care. So Matt Damon comes one day and he's like, you need to lead the Manhattan Project.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon is playing like. Basically, a major official in the government who becomes like Oppie's boss, right? So eventually, he's in charge. They move to Oppie is like very into New Mexico. He's got a house there with his brother, who's like on and off in the movie. They won't let him because he's like everyone Oppie knows is a communist. So like they won't let him. You never meet his parents in the movie. I think we're also communists, and like his brother, they don't let him on the team for the most part. Because he's a communist, even though he's a great scientist. So he's really surrounded by communists. So if he wasn't one, and the movie has a pretty strong claim that he wasn't, and I think history has proven there's no evidence that he was. He very, very unlucky that every single person he ever met, basically interacted with, was a communist.
So, but were they Russian?
No, well, they get into that in the movie that like it's different between being like because this is the early 50s, right? Not in the bomb time, but all the other.
They're just communists, like on the DL.
Yeah, they're DL communists, but it's the House of Un-American Activities is going after people, the McCarthyism stuff.
Now
So
it's like if you're a communist, you tell everybody.
it's cool, but then it wasn't
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you post on Twitter. It's like in your Twitter bio. I'm freaking communist.
Yeah.
Get at if you're a socialist, unfollow me.
Now they look
mean,
to see they look to see if you're not a communist, and then they come for you.
So so basically they put him in charge and they build a city in a few months, or a town in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Out of nowhere, they said $2 billion building this town, and they said like no one's going to come. They're not going to be able to get good scientists.
They spent $2 billion on the town.
Well, the town and the bombs
in like 1930 money.
Yeah, the town and the bombs. The bombs were probably more expensive than the town. But
Mm-hmm.
there were so many people. They said they were delivering like 10 babies a month. They had a whole hospital. Like,
I thought it was going to be like you were going to say they had like DoorDash like 100 years before the rest of us.
Well, I mean, they might have. They don't get into like how they were eating. There's very little food. I will be honest. The movie doesn't feel often like it's in the 1940s. Like the clothing is, I guess, not anachronistic. Like I think it is appropriate, but nobody's speaking in like old timey's 40 lexicon at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're not saying like,
hey, dame.
Yeah, they're not calling anybody broads or dames. Like, I don't know. When it's black and white, it's like more clear, but it's not. Oh, it doesn't always feel like we're in the 40s. It feels pretty modern, or at least like evergreen.
Yeah.
So now Oppie is living in Los Alamos, and he's going to assemble the Avengers. Ironically, in a movie with
boy,
the Avengers of scientists. He's got guys. All the good scientists are escaping Europe because of the war, especially the Jewish ones with the Holocaust. Yeah. So they are, so they've got some people coming from all over the world, different specialties, and Oppenheimer is the leader of this whole team. It's called the Manhattan Project.
Why do they call it the Manhattan Project? Because Manhattan is
that today.
The city that never sleeps.
Yeah, and why was it called that? Let's see. I don't know. They definitely never get into it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to get into that a little later because it's a whole long Wikipedia. Maybe when we do our WikiLinks article, we'll get into.
Yeah. Why do they call it the Manhattan Project?
Why do they call it? Because he doesn't name it or anything.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure stuff out, and then they're like putting balls in containers and trying to figure out like what kind of bomb should it be? A nitrogen bomb, a hydrogen bomb?
When you say they put balls in containers, like the season 3, episode 7 fishbowl?
It's basically a fishbowl, but he's trying to like prove science stuff with these. He keeps putting more balls in these containers, and they're trying to figure out what kind of bomb. The guy who directed what's the Adam Sandler movie I really like? With Kevin Garnett. Uncut Gems. The guy who directed Uncut Gems, he has like an accent. He's trying to get them to do a hydrogen bomb. And by the way, the cast is nuts. Not just Florence Pugh, who you're a big fan of, and Cillian Murphy.
Yeah,
Cillian Murphy. But
Nolan can get anybody.
Yeah, Nolan gets a lot of people. I will say, other than the two people I mentioned, there are not a lot of women in this movie. Like it is. I joke this movie didn't pass the Bechdel test. There's not a scene with two women in it.
Good news, Akiva. We're gonna make up for it on the back half. Okay.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett is one of the scientists. And I believe wasn't he the star of Pearl Harbor or one of them?
Yes.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor and Black Hawk Down. Okay.
Did I ever tell you I used to own the domain joshhart.net?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I used to.
Well, you could. I mean, if you still owned it, Josh Hart is on the Knicks, so it might have come back into play.
Yeah.
Why'd you buy joshhart.net as a bit?
It's hilarious.
It is fun.
I was going to make it my website. Like, if people were like, oh, what's your website? Like, joshhart.net.
Is there 1 T or 2?
I think I did 1.
Well, I don't think you
two.
did 2. Yeah, he has 2 T's.
2 T's in net? Because you can only do 1, Akiva.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying. That's why maybe he never contacted you. His people never contacted you. So, so Hartnett, Casey Affleck's in it. I guess you can't have Ben and Matt in the same movie. So you got his brother. Rami Malek is a scientist. Kenneth Branagh, the Uncut Gem guy. Matthew Modine. It's like on and on. This third Jack Quaid. There's like a million people you've heard of who are who have roles in this movie. Very expensive, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What
was Gary the budget on Oppenheimer?
I think the budget. So I read a couple things. Sam was talking about the history of it. I think so. He agreed to a few things. Let me tell you them. $100 million budget, matching $100 million marketing budget. This is what
Okay.
Nolan needed to do the movie. It had to be in theaters for 90 days. They were not allowed to release a movie 3 weeks before and or 3 weeks afterwards. Universal.
Mm-hmm.
This could be their only movie for 6 weeks. So they could focus on it.
$100 million budget seems like pretty good because I think Barbie had $150 million budget.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably less effects. I read on Twitter that Damon and RDJ and Blunt each took $4 million. Now, I don't know if they all have the same price on movies at this point, but they all took about $4 million. I'm sure Murphy made more, and that Nolan makes 20% of the first dollar, so he's going to make a lot of money this weekend, probably.
We'll see. Who's going to be number one at the box office? Oppenheimer?
Oh,
or Barbie?
No, Barbie's it's supposed to be like 100 million Barbie, 50 million Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I mean, also, this is an R-rated movie. Like, R-rated movies,
well,
you
like, said that one woman is topless. The whole thing.
She's topless a lot, yes.
Okay. Well, is she a nudist?
She's not a nudist. She just, like, they mostly, it's an
Is
affair.
that how they get a lot of people into communism, that they have a lot of nudists?
She's the only naked. I mean, maybe you see Oppenheimer's butt.
Because
like, I don't
there wasn't a lot of pornography then.
Much less.
Yeah.
But no, she
Did
just
they
like
explore how much pornography was available in the bomb camp.
I mean, I've seen some reviews complaining about it, but they don't get into that at all. She's like, we meet her. She's she's sleeping with him a couple times. One time, they're talking about her in the hearing whether Oppie's going to keep a security clearance or not.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, he's having a dream where she's sort of like engaging in marital act with him, like in the room, like he's hallucinating. So she's topless again there, even though she's already like dead in the movie. So yeah,
she died.
Well, she died by suicide. She him, and like he was already married with kids, even though not a major part of the movie. You really barely see the kids. His wife has a drinking problem at one point. She comes around at the end. She doesn't really get, Emily Blunt doesn't get much of a her own type of role, but then the end is like she redeems herself. She has like a redemption arc.
Okay.
So Oppie is building this bomb, and they're like, hey, should it be left? Should it be right? Should it be hydrogen? They're trying to figure out what city to drop it on.
Be left or right?
I don't know. Like, where are they going to drop it, and how, and who's going to do it, and all these things, and the science. And he's a science genius, so like he's in charge. And eventually they test the bomb. And this is, I'll be honest, like the main, most dramatic part of the movie, even though there's still an hour left when this is done.
Mm-hmm.
They do the test, and they do like a smaller test first. It's very loud. I will say, for people who are going to watch this movie, it is very loud. Your ears will be like blown off a couple times, and sometimes you don't expect it. So they test the bomb, and it's shot really well. Like, it's like dead, real spoiler alert here, like it's like dead silent, and it's like very nice, and like, ooh, it worked, you could tell. And then there's like 45 seconds of silence when you're expecting the bomb, like, oh, Nolan's not going to show the bomb because it's like too loud. How do you show this like test nuke in the, this is the test one, how do you show the test nuke in the like desert in New Mexico, right? And then all of a sudden, kablamo, like it is like the loudest thing you've ever heard in any movie in your life.
We would never do that on the podcast.
No, but 32 fans, shout out.
Yeah,
Alex switched the bomb blast. He already sent me a link. He switched the bomb blast. It's not as bad this year.
Okay.
So it worked, and everyone's celebrating. And at that point, it's like, all right, we know we're gonna beat because this whole time it's like how much ahead of the Germans are we? But by the time they test it, we're winning the war. Like the Germans have mostly lost. We never, at no point, if you were curious in the movie, see any of the action in the war. Where outside of when he's in college in the first few minutes of the movie in Europe, the movie never leaves the United States. So we don't see anything in Europe. We don't see any image of Hitler's mentioned once, but we don't see anything.
Go see Indiana Jones if you want that kind of action.
Yes, we don't see anything in Japan either. So it really just takes place in the U.S. except for a couple scenes in European colleges. And so after that, it's like, all right, we know we're going to win. They kind of take over. He wants to be involved in like, when are we going to drop it and how? But he's just like an employee. And Matt Damon says, no, your work is done here. So eventually they drop the first bomb. And he just finds out about it on the radio. Like Truman breaks into the radio. There was a lot of breaking news back then in that day. It was like a bottom line. They would like, all right, like we interrupt this like opera on the radio to tell you that like we're in a war or something.
Yeah.
My grandpa told me recently that's how he found out about Pearl Harbor. He was listening to the New York Giants game on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
and they broke in, or I guess the game never happened because they were talking about it.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, we're in a war, no game."
Was he listening to the baseball New York Giants or the football New York
No,
Giants?
so I think because Chester brought up, I think, or someone brought up there was a game on December 7th, 1941 in New York, and my
It would be
grandpa,
baseball.
who was a Jets fan, but obviously there were no Jets in
Jets weren't
1941.
invented yet.
Yeah, so he liked the Giants. Then he really stopped rooting for the Jets because it was too hard to get Jets tickets after the Giants made that famous championship game in 1960 or 59. So he and the Jets started in 1960. So I said, "Did you go to that game, Grandpa?" Knowing that there was a very good chance he lived right there, that he was at that game. And he said, "I wanted to." He had a very, and I checked up all these details. He was right. He saw some movie, and he mentioned the movie, and I looked it up, and he was right which movie it was. And the game was they used to play at, I think, 2:00 NFL games then.
Oh, they moved it up.
They moved it up or back, I guess. And he wasn't going to make it because he had seen the movie. So he ran home to watch the football, to listen to the football game on the radio, because that's what people did then when they were 12 years old. And then he was very confused for a while because he said, like, what are they talking about? And then he eventually realized it was Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
But I think in his mind, they didn't play the game. And I think in reality, they did. I think in his mind, there was no game that day. But I guess.
Well, maybe they stuck with the radio coverage. They didn't say,
I don't think they
let's get you back out to
Bob
Yankee
Papa,
Stadium.
Bob Papa Sr.
For the game. They couldn't do like a split screen like the OJ chase or anything like that. So in his mind, I guess that they didn't play the game.
And it was probably not in the paper. The next day was probably like wall-to-wall Pearl Harbor
off
coverage.
Of the newspaper. Right.
Probably no sports section for a few days.
But probably 2:00 game start was probably better for your grandpa to do like fantasy and stuff and get his lineups in and everything.
It is true. I wonder if, I mean, there was no DFS then in 1941, but that is true. I'm sure him and all the other 12-year-olds. I mean, they were probably only playing for a few cents because it was like after the Depression and stuff, but Anyway, so they're like, no. So he finds out about it on the radio, Oppie, and then it's like, okay, they won the war. He's a hero. He's on the cover of like Time magazine and Life magazine, and he's like, they call him the most famous person in America because like even now, like who are the most famous people? The scientists that developed the best bombs. And eventually, like he had kind of wanted to meet Truman, and he never did. So he meets the president. He meets Truman. And that's Gary Oldman playing Truman, like an aged Gary. I think he's aged. And Truman is like, hey, you're a hero, whatever. And he's
Gary,
like, I have a lot of
man. They don't call him that for nothing.
That's true. He's like, I have a lot of problems with what I did. And Truman's like, you didn't do anything. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, you think the people in Japan like hate you? They never heard of you. Like, I'm the one who dropped the bomb on them. Like, you have too big of an ego. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like in tears, and Truman grabs a tissue and like kicks him out of the room and calls him a crybaby, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, which supposedly really happened.
Now, was he happy that Truman said, like, look, like, this is my, this is my thing?
No, because he has a big ego, and I also think like Truman, so Oppenheimer after the war starts having a lot of reservations about the fact that like his idea killed about 200,000 people.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and even beforehand, he didn't want to do it. His idea, and the idea of a lot of Americans, was like, if the Nazis get this first, it'll be much worse. Like we want to do this one bomb, and that'll be like the bomb to end all bombs. Then no one will do it again. Which in hindsight did happen so far. That like we'll see how bad it is. Nobody's ever going to do it again, basically. So he has, he has a lot of reservations for the rest of his life about it, and they want him to be like, let's get what's the next bomb? What's like that? We did the A bomb. What's like the B bomb? And so people are not so into that, right? He's very conflicted in the later part of his life about what happened. You don't see, like I said, you don't see either of the bomb blasts at all. You just hear them on the radio. So like after that, the last third of the movie is really the two hearings. It's a lot of like everyone who he met during the movie. It's a little bit like the Seinfeld finale. Everyone who he meets,
anytime you can revisit the Seinfeld finale,
it's true.
You gotta do it.
You got like Crazy Joe DeVoe and the Soup Nazi and Terry Hatcher. Like everyone's coming, and like basically, everyone says the same thing. Do you trust him? 100%. Is he a great scientist? Yes. Should he keep a security clearance? And then they're like, in spite of everything I just said, no. Like he's, at this point, he's a wacko, or he,
he's a wacko.
He's too left wing, basically. To them, he's like too left wing, or he's gone too far off the reservation since he became a celebrity. So all these sort of like scientists and
Fame
government
went to his
officials.
head.
Yeah, the fame went to his head. So all the and also like he had an affair with one of the other people's wives. He was a real like he was a real flirt,
Mm-hmm.
He had an eye for the ladies. So and his wife is in there and like she's mad because everything is like, and then you
Because
slept
he's
with this
cheating
woman.
on her.
And
Yeah.
he's constantly cheating on
Yeah.
her, just constantly.
Oh my god.
So and also he's kind of like a wimp, like some guy basically.
Couldn't imagine like I was on like hearing and then like these women were coming forward and saying like and then I had to go home
Well, they
with
were
my
dead,
wife.
I think. But yeah.
Still
Yeah. It was probably
like,
very awkward car ride. That's what it seemed like.
that
And he's also very passive. Like people would be he's got to lose his security clearance ASAP, and then he'd like shake their hand, and his wife was like, "Why are you shaking their hands? You're such a P word." But they didn't say the P word back then. So I don't think they even knew it. So
they never heard of it.
There's a lot of that, and then at the same time, like RDJ's people are trying to rustle up the votes for him to get confirmed by Congress. And eventually he doesn't get confirmed. A young JFK, you don't see him, but like he's one of the votes that decides like not to give RDJ the votes. And basically RDJ, to tie it together, like RDJ and Oppie, who at first like RDJ hired him to run this thing, but they were both Jewish and like very different, the movie says, and they really clashed on like RDJ didn't respect the Strauss guy. Oppie didn't respect RDJ, who was playing a guy named Strauss, as a scientist. And so eventually RDJ turns on him and like basically he's the one who told everyone he's a communist. That's what the movie's implying.
Yeah.
That he's basically like leaked his file and he's the one who sort of ruined his career, because now he loses a 2-to-1 vote for the security clearance towards the end of the movie. And so now he's like, he can still work as a professor and stuff, but he's not going to be involved in like government secrets or anything. He lost his top level security clearance. And this is a few years earlier, but I guess all the scientists had his back, except when they had to testify for him. So RDJ loses his battle for a commerce secretary. And he's also like, they both basically leave the public eye for the rest of their lives. So they both lose. I think the reason they show RDJ losing is because otherwise the movie's too sad. I know 200,000 people died, but like he is the hero of the movie, even though they present him as like a complicated situation. I think if it was just him losing, it would be too like upsetting, because they've built him up as the hero, so they have to have like the bad guy RDJ lose his hearing.
And that's the end of the movie.
And then we see the scene. We go back and it's like the scene of RDJ, Oppie, and Einstein himself, and we see the conversation, and Einstein is like, listen, and this is before the war, right? Or this is right after the war, but before he's disgraced. And he's like, listen, you're the hero now, Oppie. Like last time I saw you or whatever, like you were talking to me, but like you were sort of taking over for me and I wasn't involved, and now you're not involved. You're the me from 20 years ago, basically.
You're washed up Einstein.
You're washed up Einstein, exactly. And he was, he's like, we had this.
You're Max Scherzer on the Mets, Einstein,
or Justin Verlander on the Mets.
Yeah, take your pick.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. And
at least they didn't call him Tom Glavine.
I mean, if he had said Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, Einstein, I would have left right then. So they had a big party for Einstein. He's like, party wasn't for me. It was for the people to like celebrate themselves and say I'm over. And then they show him having a party. Same thing. He gets like a plaque or an award. But ultimately, it's like, all right, this is the end of your career. And that's what they said. So it wasn't about Strauss at all. Like Strauss hated him the whole time for no reason. And then you like look into his eyes and boom, that's it. That's the end of the movie. There's no like, because he does, I think last year they sort of like the Congress or the president declared like definitively that he shouldn't have, it was a mistake to lose his clearance and he wasn't a communist, but he was already dead. Obviously, it was 2022. It was too late. But there's no like, most movies would have that on the screen, but Nolan's like too fancy for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
In 2022, blah, 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 blah happened.
Too fancy. So is this movie saying like, hey, like we should talk Oppenheimer as much as Einstein?
No, I mean,
the new Einstein.
It's not comparing them. I think it's just showing that he was like very conflicted, and it wasn't like he was like, yeah, we're gonna blow people up. I mean, they don't really make they don't say pro or against the bomb or anything like that. It's just like, it's complicated, basically.
It's complicated. Okay. All right. Akiva,
Yes.
was this the greatest movie you ever saw in your life?
No, I don't think so. It was very good. I will say it was way too long. I asked my daughter afterwards what she thought. Again, she came in totally blind. I don't think I even like all the sex scenes and stuff, like they could have cut that because they ultimately didn't make them like three-dimensional characters. So at that point, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it helped. And all the Strauss, all the RDJ scenes were very long. Similar to the Seinfeld finale, the 30 people testifying about Oppie could have been like a montage, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They could have saved 15 minutes there. It didn't need to be 3 hours. The good scenes in this movie are unbelievably good. The bomb scene is amazing. There's some really good scenes. There's some great acting. Murphy is amazing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it won Best Picture, but it is a very good movie. It's not the best movie I've ever seen. I would probably rewatch it. It's really good.
Would you do a podcast? We'll put it in the Seinfeld podcast feed. We'll ask ChatGPT to write 5 better Seinfeld series finale ideas.
Yeah,
and then we'll review them.
Yeah, maybe on a slow week or so, or like skipper and
maybe we should put that on the wheel.
It's a good idea. It is very niche.
Okay. All right.
I like it. I like the idea.
It's gonna be hard for me to not just do that and look at it, but I will resist. I will resist temptation. Okay, so I don't feel like I missed too much with Oppenheimer.
No, I think it's worth seeing because some of these scenes visually are very arresting.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, all right, Akiva, that's Oppenheimer.
Yes.
2
that
thumbs
is
up.
Oppenheimer.
Very good.
I will give it,
very good.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 from Uncle Kiwi. Are you ready to hear about Barbie?
I'm very ready. I think this is like the main event. I want to know everything about. I know there's a lot of Barbies, and I think there's a lot of Kens. That's all.
I went in very blind to Barbie. I did not know really the plot or anything. I tried to stay as unspoiled as possible about what Barbie was like. And so, I mean, Akiva, you're not even gonna this is gonna blow your mind. Like, this is gonna be like, forget that bomb you saw. Like, your head is just gonna be like.
Wow.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Yeah.
Second time in 2 days that'll happen.
So, they start off like Helen Mirren is a narrator. Was there a narrator in Oppenheimer?
No, it's really mostly seen through Oppie's eyes. You really, there's very few scenes he's not in other than the RDJ hearings. So
Dame
no
Helen Mirren?
Yeah, and her friend Dame Judi Dench.
Yes. Okay. So rack one up for Helen Mirren, who gets to be back on RHAP, right? And so basically it starts off and there's like a whole flashback, and it's almost like out of like 2001 A Space Odyssey about how before Barbie, only dolls girls had were babies.
Only dolls girls had were babies. Okay.
Yeah. And then Barbie came, and Barbie was like a real woman. And Barbie could be anything. And Barbie was going to teach women that they could have jobs and stuff.
So this is the voiceover?
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. And then we cut to Barbie world. Okay. Barbie has her own, like, there's a universe of all the Barbies in the Barbieverse. Okay.
There's a universe of Barbies in the Barbieverse.
Can you imagine this? And now here's what's a little confusing is that every woman, and they all look different, but they're all Barbies, and they're all called Barbie. Everybody is Barbie. Every Barbie is Barbie. Every Ken is Ken.
Can you tell them apart though?
I don't really know if they seem to be able to. There seems to be very little confusion, even though Barbie. Margot Robbie, she's stereotypical Barbie. But there are other Barbies. There's like Dr. Barbie, and in Barbie universe, okay?
Okay.
Barbies rule everything. The president, Barbie. Supreme Court, all Barbies.
9 Barbies?
9 Barbies.
Wow.
Of very diverse backgrounds. But Barbie. All Barbies.
Okay. Is everyone Barbie? Is like the police Barbie and like the person taking the tickets to the movies Barbie?
Yes.
So
yes.
the whole world is Barbie. It's not just ruled by Barbies. It's
The
only
whole world. The whole
by
world.
Barbie for Barbie.
Is all Barbies. Okay, all the Barbies rule everything. Okay, they're the ruling class. And then there's Ken. He's just Ken. Okay. Ken is just like an idiot simp for Barbie.
Is he? But you just said there's only Barbies in the world. Are they in the same universe or separate universes?
Yes, I told you there's Barbies and there's Kens. All the Barbies are Barbies and all the Kens are
but
Kens.
Kens are not in charge of anything.
Nothing. They
like no jobs
and you wouldn't they'd have no jobs and you wouldn't even give them a job because they're too stupid.
So if you need someone to paint your house, you can only call a Barbie. You can't call
the Barbies will come and they'll paint your house. They'll do a great job. It'll be amazing. But Ken is like he doesn't even have like he's not a lifeguard, but he hangs out on the beach. His job is just beaching. Not a lifeguard.
What if yeah, so like even surfing, the surfers are Barbies?
He can do surf. The Kens can surf, but he also like wipes out pretty hard and then
he's not even a good surfer. That's
not even
like
a good surfer.
Thing, but he's not
good at nothing. He's not good at anything.
Is RG Ryan Gosling? Is he the main Ken the same way Margot Robbie?
Yes. He is Ken. He is the titular Ken.
Got it.
Main Ken.
Are there other Kens like
yes?
What would their titles be if there's no president?
They're all Ken.
Oh, they don't even get a name.
They don't even get a name, but they're also like a bunch of like diverse backgrounds of Ken. Okay. And Barbie doesn't even like Ken.
I always thought they were like together.
I thought that they were an item. And I think like in like Ken, Barbie is like doing a million different things, like having just like every day is the best day ever. But Ken, like he only has a good day if Barbie pays attention to him. Which
sounds like rarely.
Almost never. She does not even seem to like him at all.
You say she, you mean they, right? It's
well,
like
I think that this particular Barbie, this is like the Ken that she is seeing.
Is every Barbie seeing a Ken?
It seems like, I mean, they don't really get into like exploring too much beyond the like heteronormative standards. Like,
but I mean, is every Barbie
in the film?
So there's
Are
no
there
Barbie
Kens in
Barbies
relationships?
Either.
I don't know. It doesn't come up in the movie.
But I'm saying, is anyone else? Is it just Margot Robbie and Robbie and Ryan Gosling?
They are a pair, but there are other Barbies who are with other Kens.
Got it.
Okay. And that's all well and good. And there's like parties and everything. And like it's all really fun and everything's really good. And then like all of a sudden, like they're having like this huge party at the end of the day. And like Barbie says, "Hey, are any of y'all having a lot of thoughts about dying?"
What?
And it's like record scratch. And then
I didn't even know Barbies could die.
Yeah, well, that's why it's like a big like, wait, what did you just say? And she's like, I was like, oh, I'm just dying to keep this party going, but something's off. Something's off with Margot Barbie. Things are just not right. And the next day she wakes up and just things are not like going according to like every single day is perfect, but she's not feeling perfect, Akiva.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So something is amiss.
Go to Dr. Barbie?
Well, there are Dr. Barbies for sure, and they're very good at what they do, but she needs to like every Barbie, like she has like her foot like at a 45-degree angle just to be in high heels. Margot Robbie has flat feet now. And they're like, whoa, that's weird. You need to go see Weird Barbie.
Who's Weird Barbie?
Weird Barbie is played by Kate McKinnon. And so Barbie has to go see Weird Barbie. And Weird Barbie got like her hair cut off and like marker on her face. And so Kate McKinnon tells stereotypical Barbie, like, yeah, I don't know. Must be somebody's playing with you in the real world. And she's like, wait, hold on. Somebody's playing with me? He's like, yeah, like we're Barbie. People play with us. Okay. Somebody's in the real world. She's playing with you and having like weird thoughts and stuff. You need to go explore this. Really. And so from what I understand, basically, and I don't know if you're gonna like this or not like this, Akiva.
Mhm.
Basically, Barbie is the Matrix.
I mean, my mind was just blown.
Your mind is just blown. Okay.
Is there a unit? There's no universe with people, or there is?
There is. So Barbie, basically, it's like
Is this
I
Toy
think
Story now?
it's a little toy. It's like Toy Story meets the Matrix, really.
We've
And
been
there
talking about that movie for a long time, so I'm glad it's here.
Yeah. So basically, like in the Matrix, like they give Neo a choice of like, okay, take the red pill or take the blue pill. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go back, and she's like, I just want to go back to normal. Like Kate McKinnon's like, that's not really a choice. You have to go into the Matrix, and then you're gonna see how things really are. That's really gonna be opening your eyes. And so she tells, okay, here's how you get there. You got to drive the Barbie car, and you get to go and take a rocket ship. And so this is the directions of how to go. So she's like, all right, I guess I'll just go to the real world and go like find out what's going on. And so Margot Robbie, and like I think I'm doing an injustice here of just like how like colorful and fun everything is. Like it is like the
Does
aesthetic.
everybody live in a Barbie dream house, like all the Barbies, or just
yes.
Margot
I mean,
Barbie?
they really like could explore some. I was very interested. Do we exist in the Barbie world? I don't understand. And then also Michael Cera is also there. I don't really understand what his role was.
He's not a Ken.
He was Alan.
I
Michael
didn't even know
Cera.
there was an Alan.
No, I didn't know there was and a lot of times that they would just reference like Barbies that I guess were made, but not popular. But that's that he's Alan.
Jeez, I knew
Yeah.
there was an Alan.
Okay, so Ryan Gosling, it turns out he actually stows away on to in Barbie's car, and then he pops up while she's driving. She is like, damn it, Ken, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just had to follow you. Like I made a bet with the other Ken. And so now he's stowing away to go to the real world. And they go to the real world and they're like rollerblading in Santa Monica, and they show up in California, and Barbie's like, this feels weird. This is strange. And Ken is like, this is awesome. Because Barbie is being sexually harassed. Barbie is being not taken seriously. And all of a sudden, people are starting to give Ken like some respect. It's about time. Ken's like, oh my God. Like what this is, I feel different and I feel great. And Barbie's like, I feel unsafe.
And he likes that. Ken.
He's loving it, Akiva.
Sucks.
He's like, yeah. He's like, wow, this is great. This is and Ken's like looking around, and he's like, wait, hold on. You have a man president in this world? Like, let me look at this. Let me look at the money. Like, it's all man presidents.
And
And
he did like a sporkle or something.
he's like super excited about this, and Barbie's like, this is like I got the heebie-jeebies here.
Hebrew Jeebrews.
Yes, that wasn't explored either in the movie. But so Barbie's like, I gotta go find the little girl that's playing with me. Meanwhile, Ken is like, he goes to the library and he's like checking out like all the books, and he's like a sponge. He's like, wow.
Can he even read?
He I guess he can reid, but he's
He
just
what
like,
read?
he can read. Oh yeah,
okay.
There you go. Yeah. So you I walked right into that one. And Ken is just like exploring the world, and he's like, this is paradise. I am like in I've died and gone to Ken heaven. And I don't know why Ken is very into horses also. But
I didn't know that. Does Ken ever come with a horse?
I didn't know that either, because I don't care about horses. But I don't know. I guess people that horses. But the movie is seemingly very anti-horse.
I've never seen a Barbie with a horse, but
yeah,
I've never.
More like a My Little Pony.
Yeah,
but
maybe
Ken
that's why. Maybe
horses.
that's like a rivalry.
The horse is like one of Ken's like symbols or whatever. But so Ken goes to the library, Akiva.
And
And he's like looking at books, books about horses, and then he finds a book about the real villain of the film, Akiva.
Who's that?
Pat.
Pat? It's Pat?
Pat. No. Pat Riarchy, the ultimate villain of the movie.
Oh.
He finds the book about the patriarchy.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, oh my God, my mind is blown. He's like, this is awesome. This is incredible. This is the best book I've ever read. And so he's like, he comes back.
Pro patriarchy.
He loves it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good for him.
Yeah, that in the Barbie world, like him and all the Kens have been. It is actually very sad, Akiva, that all the Kens are not treated fairly.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get paid the same. They don't have any good jobs. Like it's pretty messed up. How
do you think this movie is trying to send a message, or is like a coincidence?
I didn't pick up on one if there was one, but it's
just the movie.
Yeah, it's really I was really my eyes were open to how the Kens were being treated in the Barbie world. I was like, wow. Yeah. Messed up. That's really
should never happen, but probably would also never happen.
I would hope not. Not. So anyway, Barbie, she does some meditation, and she finds the she has a vision of okay, I think I see the little girl with her mom that's having must be going through something, and I might be telling things a little bit out of order, but also the FBI. Okay, so I'm not sure if this got across the desk of George Tenet or not, but basically it's CIA. They call up Mattel headquarters and they say, hey, guess what? 2 Barbies have escaped. They're in the real world. And we see a lot of I don't know really what Mattel. I don't know if they look so great in this movie because then we cut to the Mattel board meeting and Will Ferrell is the head of Mattel.
Okay. As playing himself?
No, he's acting as the head of Mattel.
It's not a documentary.
In the movie, in the movie, Will Ferrell doesn't run Mattel, and he's also in the Lego movie also. So I don't know if they're hey, we got toys coming to life, we need Will Ferrell.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So Will Ferrell gets the word out. He's like, if this gets out that Barbies are in the real world, this could be catastrophic. I think it would help sales, personally.
Yeah. I wonder if you're the head of the CIA. You're Mr. Tenet himself from the Christopher Nolan movie. And you get this call. Do you believe it? There's 2 Barbies that are real and they're on the loose.
It was very believable.
You probably
No, this has happened before, they said. It'll be a prequel.
Because you probably get some crazy calls like that if you're the head of the CIA, right?
Yeah. And they were clean this up. You can't have Barbies running around. So anyway, Barbie goes and finds the little girl from her vision, and so she goes to and the girl from the vision, she goes to meet her at her junior high school, and she does not like Barbie at all. Her name is Sasha, and she's very mean to Barbie. They warn her
did she recognize Barbie?
Well, she's thinks she's a crazy person. She's hey, and then Barbie's no, I got this. I am used to everything going my way. I'm gonna go talk to this girl, and they're Barbie, don't do it. And then Sasha is she's are you Sasha? And she's yeah. And she's I'm Barbie. And then finally she's you know what? All right, let's go there. She lets Barbie have it.
Whoa.
She goes off on Barbie. She's Barbie, you ruined my life. Do you know what you've done? Because Barbie was under the impression, hey, in Barbie world, we're Barbies, and we changed everything in the real world. We told little girls, you girls can be anything like Barbie. And they're okay, this message changed the world. And the Barbie world mirrored the real world. And Barbie is doesn't get it, what's going on. And Sasha's you've ruined everything, Barbie. Do you realize that you gave women unrealistic body don't have positive body images anymore, and You
Really
also
telling on themselves, it sounds like.
well, I think that Sasha was actually very pro-communist because she was like, "You're pro-capitalism, Barbie. You're consumerism, Barbie." They didn't get into also is Barbie also like bad for the environment?
They don't. I mean, they've got it again. Probably
Made a lot of plastic, yeah. So, but she was like, she just went off on Barbie, and then Barbie was crying. She really made her very sad. And then Barbie ultimately, like she like meets she meets up with this is there's a lot going on in this movie, Akiva.
Yeah,
So she
sounds
meets
like
up with Ken, and she like Ken is like they're like, oh, great news. Like, I think this is right before this that Barbie's like, I found the girl, and Ken's like, I found the patriarchy. And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, never mind. But anyway, so Barbie then gets like apprehended by Mattel, and they stuff her into the back of the car, and they're gonna bring her to Mattel headquarters. Meanwhile, Sasha, she ends up getting picked up by her mom in the movie. And then her mom is played by, I believe it's America Ferrara. Remember Ugly Betty?
Sure.
Yep. She plays the mom of Sasha, and she is like, "Hey, is that Barbie?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, that woman, she's unwell. She thinks she's Barbie. And
She's weird,
then
Barbie.
well, no, she's well, maybe she made weird Barbie. But anyway, it turns out that the woman that was connected to Barbie wasn't Sasha. It was Gloria, played by America Ferrara, who loved Barbie, and then she feels like her daughter is very mean. And so she's like, that's the one that was having like all these like weird thoughts about Barbie and like making Barbie be different and making Barbie be unwell. And she's like, oh, we got to follow that car. And then they follow her to Mattel headquarters. And Will Ferrell's like, okay, Barbie, we just need you to get back in this box. If they got her back in the box, they would then be able to ship her back to the Barbie world. Meanwhile, Ken saw Barbie get arrested, and then he's like, I'm out of here. And he goes back to the Barbie world without Barbie.
Ken is not a ride or die at all, it sounds like.
No, he's craven. He's he's scared, like he's like, I'm doing my own thing. And he goes back to the Barbie world, but he's bringing his books with him. He goes back to Barbie's world. And so meanwhile, then Barbie escapes from Mattel headquarters.
Mattel's the bad guys in this Mattel movie.
They kind of are. And she ends up running into in the midst of her escape, she runs into Rhea Perlman. You know who that is?
Yeah, Danny DeVito's wife.
Danny DeVito's wife. I bet she showed up on Frasier at some point.
I bet she did.
Yeah. And I don't know, she's playing like some like weird, like she's like playing like a very like old lady that's like she's almost like, if this is the Matrix, she's like the Oracle a little bit.
By the way, can I correct myself? Apparently they separated 6 years ago. Very sad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, they were alive since before I was born, so they had a nice run for Hollywood. But
they had a nice run. I don't really know if I feel like you see Danny DeVito all the time. I feel like I have not seen Rhea Perlman in many things, but here she is.
She's in an episode of Always Sunny this year, so I guess they're on good terms still.
They're probably on good terms, Rhea Perlman. Here she is. So yeah, she's playing like some old.
By the way, one episode of Frasier she's on.
Yeah, that's what makes sense. She'll probably be in the reboot also.
Yeah.
But Barbie, she's on the run, and then ultimately, she ends up getting broken out of the Mattel headquarters, and then she gets in the car with America Ferrara and her daughter. And America Ferrara can drive. I mean, she should be maybe in the Fast and the Furious movies after this, because she was just like she just gets away from, I don't know who's chasing them, the police, Mattel. But then so they say like, hey, you gotta come with us to the Barbie world. You gotta like, she brings America Ferrara and Sasha to the Barbie world. And so while they travel all there together, and they're becoming like really good friends at the same time. And so they bring her to the Barbie world, and when they get back to the Barbie world, it's like things are a little bit different now. And guess what happened while Barbie was gone, Akiva?
Ken's took over.
They took over.
Oh.
And they took over, and now all of the women in the Barbie world are like, yeah, Kens are the best. Like, I'm so happy I don't have to be a doctor anymore and think and do anything, because Kens make all the decisions. And Ken, he kind of like he's basically like turned into like Logan Paul.
Ken is turned into Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I'll be honest.
I didn't see it coming either. He's like wearing like a fur coat, and he's got like a headband, and like horses everywhere, and like energy drinks and like protein and stuff like that. And then like all of the Kens, they're like, oh, like, what's up, dude? Like, hey man, are you as excited for 32 fans in 32 days as I am? Like, yeah, we're stoked. And so it's just like all Ken's running everything. And Barbie's like, this is not right. This should not be like this. And what happened was, it turns out that America Ferrera compares it to that, because the Barbies in the Barbie universe, like, they did not have any like natural defenses to the patriarchy. That they said it was sort of like the indigenous people like getting like smallpox blankets, of that they had no like internal defenses. Only Barbie had been inoculated against the patriarchy because she had been to the real world, Akiva.
Crazy.
It was.
What do you think this movie was about? Not this. Couldn't have been this.
Look, it was. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was getting into, and so then like the Kens are just running everything, and they're changing the Constitution, and they're gonna put Kens on the Supreme Court.
Oh
and
my gosh! Are they gonna pack the court with Kens?
I don't know if they were packing the court, or they were just like they basically like we're gonna vote on the Barbie Constitution and make the Kenstitution. That was not in the movie, but that should have been. That was the layup that they missed.
Yeah,
the Kens are just running everything, and Barbie's like, this is my house. He's like, not anymore, Barbie. Now Kens run the world. He's like, we've seen how good the patriarchy can be. It did not seem that good, to be honest.
Patriarchy?
No.
No.
So, Barbie's like, we got to do something. We got to stop them. And Barbie, it was just like getting like super depressed. She's like really getting like upset, because like, what am I gonna do? Like, all of my friends are just like turning into just like mindless like Ken worshippers. And so that it was not great. And Barbie was like on the floor, and she's like couldn't even move. She was like
like President Barbie is a Ken worshiper.
President Barbie is like one of the worst Ken worshippers. God. President Barbie was like some woman on the beach like giving out drinks to Kens playing volleyball. Kens weren't even allowed to play volleyball in the original Barbie.
Good old days, yeah.
In the good old days.
When you mentioned John Cena was going to come into this. When does he come into play?
John Cena is one of the Kens also. He's like a Merkin, not a Merkin. That's different.
There, mermaid is mentioned as a joke in Oppenheimer too.
Yes.
Which was good because the subtitles, I got to see how to say mermaid in Hebrew.
Oh, okay. What was the joke? Well, Girl of the Sea?
No, well, that wasn't the joke. The joke, I don't remember the joke. It was something about, I really don't remember how mermaids came up in Oppenheimer, but
yeah,
Oppie dropped a good one about mermaids.
When you see John Cena originally, yeah, he's just like another like simp idiot, but then he's kind of like feeling himself a little bit. Like the Kens are feeling good. The Kens are probably all like pretty like depressed and like have a lot of they're just like Barbie, please pay attention to me, please.
Are there any sports in the Barbie world?
There are Barbies playing sports. And then we in the real world, I think maybe we see some like beach volleyball. Actually, and then there's some like Top Gun like men playing volleyball. But volleyball seems to be like the number one sport.
That makes sense. That's the number one popular sport in Barbie World.
Yes. And so I mean, I don't know how much it gets talked about like on Barbie and Barbie Need a Podcast in the Barbie universe. But, you know, they don't really explore what the podcasting is like. It's probably a lot different.
They have to save some of this stuff for sequels. I do wonder. First of all, did the Barbie song "I'm a Barbie Girl" does that get played?
End credits, but it's kind of a remix.
That's kind of a bummer. I was looking forward to that song.
Yeah. So there's a very good soundtrack for the movie. That's the song "Closer to Fine" by the Indigo Girls gets played a lot in Barbie's car. That's like the road trip song that you listen to when you go in and out of the Barbie the Barbie world. And then but the Kens, you know what they really like? Matchbox 20.
Ooh, I listen to as you know about 8-10 albums a week. I listened to the new Matchbox 20 album a couple months ago.
There's new Matchbox 20?
Rob, there is. It really wasn't so bad. I was like, hey, this is
much.
I thought it wouldn't make one of those albums that wouldn't make it to like the second
Maybe you're
song.
like one of the Kens.
I haven't been compared to a Ken. Maybe I'm not Oppenheimer, you're Barbie. I'm Ken, you're Barbie.
Yeah, that there was definitely one Matchbox 20 song that they like. They might have also been into like Third Eye Blind also. Like that's like the Spotify stations that they listen to.
Makes sense. I get it. Three Doors Down probably.
Yeah, that's all like very popular music with the Kens.
With the Kens.
And so like basically America Ferrera gives like a big like stump speech to Barbie about like, hey, and she like tells like so I didn't like know this implicitly, but you know, it's actually very hard to be not just a Barbie, but also a woman in the real world. Like there's a lot of things, there's a duality that you have to manage. Of, you know, you have to be nice, but not too nice. You have to look pretty, but not too pretty that the other women. And so she like lays into it. And it's all of a sudden like everybody's like, whoa. I'm broke out of the spell. She's like, that's it. We need to like get these Barbies like and tell them like what's up, because that's the only way to break the spell of the patriarchy. Like they have to like yes, like I remember
tell every Barbie what's up.
They have to tell every Barbie what's up, how hard it is to be.
Who's Dua Lipa? What Barbie's Dua Lipa?
I'm
gonna check.
Somebody's doing Duolingo in the movie.
In the Barbie movie?
Yeah.
Dua Lipa is Mermaid Barbie. She's all of the Mermaid Barbies.
Okay. I didn't know that. She also has a lyric to a song that she says that she's thicker than Andy Richter. Did you know that?
In one of her, not in the movie, just in a different
Not in this movie. I don't think that comes up.
That's
in the
very
Barbie
thick.
Movie. That's very
extremely
thick. I mean, that's like what she's bragging.
Got it. Shout out to her.
Yeah. So basically that all the Barbies, they are wide awake now. Okay. But they need to, like, the Kens are still feeling good. Like the Kens still like, they like, hey, we got the patriarchy. We got our horses. We're taking over. But now all the Barbies have like secretly, like, they're all like, yeah, we know what's up. Like, we're not falling for this anymore. So they make a whole big plan. And so every Barbie is going to go out and sit at like a bonfire with every single Ken. And every single Ken likes to play the song Push by Matchbox 20 on an acoustic guitar.
Respect. Okay.
Respect.
Probably
right?
the best Matchbox.
I know, yeah. Akiva, you would love the Ken world.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
You don't have to work. It's like amazing.
Yeah. And so like, so basically that they're like all like on the, like their acoustic guitar, and he's like, they're all singing the song. And they're all amazingly, they're all starting at the same point, like and they get to like I wanna push you around, and I will, and I will. I
Oh,
mean,
no.
Matchbox 20 it's kind of hit a hit piece on Matchbox 20. I think those guys are probably
They're probably
kind
like,
of
what?
pissed. Like those
You
guys
think
need
they
like
got?
a Notes app apology probably this weekend.
Do you
Matchbox
think?
20.
Do you think they were like, hey, someone was like, hey, will you release the song 3 a.m. to the Barbie movie? They're like, the Barbie movie, like, of course, like we'll give you a discount.
It's not
But they
3
didn't tell
a.m.
them what it was
It's
for.
push. It's push.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe
And
that's in the sequel. And then yeah, there's like, I want to take you for granted. Yeah, I will.
damn.
Boy, I didn't know it. Like, I never really read into it.
Is it
And
that? I always
so
thought maybe that song was ironic.
I wouldn't have given them the rights to the song. It's like,
Imagine if they held
boy,
up the movie like last week. They're like, you know what? You weren't
yeah,
on it.
I don't know
We're,
what
like,
they got
suing you.
paid, but probably not enough to like really like sully the good name of Matchbox 20. Maybe those guys are a-holes though. I don't know.
I've never heard anything bad about them. Rob Thomas is very possible. Did he do some reality TV after they stopped being famous? He might have.
Okay. But either way, so in the middle of Barbie, like of Ken playing the song, like Barbie's like takes out her phone and just is like ignoring Ken and like just like texting, which I gotta be honest, I do hate it when my wife does this to me. Like I'm in the middle of like talking to her and she's just like going on her phone. Now I didn't know that she was firing back at the patriarchy when I thought she was just being rude.
Yes. He was
But I
taking
guess
down the patriarchy.
she was message received. Of now I know. It's not just like a very rude thing to do to somebody who is like trying to like entertain you with a song or like an interesting anecdote that maybe people would appreciate on a podcast. It's like a shot across the bow of the patriarchy. And so and then all the Barbies are doing this to Ken. They're all on their phone. And then also they realize like, hey, like I'm going to go like Barbie just gets up and starts like flirting with another Ken. And they are so fragile that they just like all like the infighting begins. And that's all it takes to spark a huge war of all the Kens.
Like a real war?
Like like the movie like the 300?
Yes.
Like that's like what happens with the Kens. Like a real war. They're gonna beach off each other really hard.
They're gonna beach off?
Yeah, that's how Kens fight. They beach off.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and then the beach off turns into like a big like kind of like dance off, a little bit like I was like I had to make sure I wasn't like taking any like ayahuasca or anything like that because it turns into like a
This
whole
would have been
like,
probably a good movie to do some, substances.
yeah, maybe
before.
Aaron Rodgers instead of the Darkness Retreat just could have watched this.
Barbie,
And
yeah.
so then all of like the men, like there's like a whole like Ken versus Ken dance battle that's happening. Meanwhile, while the Kens were busy with fighting a war against each other, Barbies are just like taking back everything over. And it turns out the day of the Ken War happened to also be the date of the referendum to vote. And all the Kens forgot to vote. Stupid idiots.
Oh, they're so dumb.
It was right there. It was right there. They had the chance to. Now, there's no like January 6th type thing where the Kens like, raid the Barbie Capitol or anything like that. And maybe that was in like another draft of the script, but that doesn't happen in the movie.
Yeah, maybe there was one, and then once the real one happened, they're like that was maybe the Amy Schumer version or something.
Yeah. And so ultimately like they did it and Barbie's like take back over and there's like a little bit of like a heart to heart with like Barbie and Ken after it's like, yeah, you lost Ken. It's like, oh, I guess I'll just go back to being like a stupid simp idiot. Like but it's like, yeah, he's like, I didn't feel good like when you when the way you treated me.
Yeah.
And so you do end up like feeling kind of bad for Ken. And Barbie is like, that was wrong. How I treated, like when we didn't let the Kens do anything. That was wrong. Maybe we should let the Kens do more stuff. And he's like goes to kiss her. She's like, no, I don't like you. Not into that. Barbie does not have a romantic interest really in the movie.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that. I could see Barbie.
It's not about that.
No.
Yeah. And really then like America Ferrara and her daughter, they're back together, and then they're gonna like they have a good relationship now, and they're gonna go back to the real world, and so that's good. And they're gonna treat the Kens like a little bit better, also in the Barbie world.
All right, that's all they ever wanted.
Now, the actual real human world is unchanged, pretty much. I forgot to tell you that they started selling like 1 million Ken toys. That meanwhile,
Did people
like when
buy them?
yeah, when Ken turned into Logan Paul, like all of a sudden, like Mattel started making Ken toys, and his
Mhm.
Ken Mojo Dojo Kaza house was like a huge seller for Mattel. And Mattel was like, "We're making so much money right now."
Oh wow! So Ken was the golden goose.
He was the golden goose. And then America Ferrara pitches that they should make ordinary Barbie. That could be a mom or a president or a mom who's not the president or anything.
President was not a
And Will
mom.
Ferrell's like, that's a terrible idea. I was like, I feel like they've tried that. I don't know how well it sells. And then they're like, sir, it's going to make a lot of money. I'm like, okay, maybe like there's a tie-in. Maybe they're releasing ordinary Barbie also.
There were there Barbies for sale? There were Barbies for sale at the theater I went to.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that I don't think we had this, but there was you could buy the Barbie sort of Corvette, like the car, and there's popcorn in it. Like you get a tub full of popcorn in the Barbie car.
Yeah. Okay. So then they're like, wait, but what's Barbie's ending? I'm like, yeah, what is Barbie's ending? And then here comes Rhea Perlman, and she's back, and she's like, see, this is my dream. This is Barbie doesn't have an ending. Like Barbie is anything. She's like, what? And then Barbie's like, well, maybe I should go to the real world. I can't go back to Barbie life. I've seen the real world. I got to go back.
Now
there.
that is of course, I don't have to tell you, the third famous Matchbox 20 song. It's the Rio world. So does that start playing? Does that start playing then?
I wish the real world would stop. Was it hassling me?
Happening to me, maybe? I think I don't remember. It's been
Boy, Matchbox 20. They should have been Rob Thomas. Was he a writer of this movie?
So I Googled it a second ago.
Yeah.
First of all, how about this tweet from Garden of 007, who has this is not a lie. According to Twitter, which is very broken, he has -1 followers right now.
Twitter's broken right now?
Yeah, I think it says he's following -1 people and he has
well, I'm
-1
trying
followers.
to figure I'm on Twitter right now. I see what's trending. I see Whoopi and Aaron Rodgers are both trending. I'm like, oh boy, this
it might be tailored to your interest though.
Maybe.
So Garden of 007 tweeted, if I had to choose one song to never hear again, it wouldn't be Barbie Girl, it would be Push by Maxbox 20, #Glass in the Eardrums.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was 4 years ago though, so they'll be very happy to see it today. They have not tweeted yet about this. They tweeted it last night about a show they did, but not about the movie. No spoilers, you know.
Yeah. He said, I wish the real world would just stop hassling me. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But okay, too bad this isn't 32 fans. We could end with a
we
song.
would have had. Yeah.
Did you see
now you agree. Now you agree.
Did you maybe I should do like every week? Did you happen to get any feedback? I know you don't listen to the podcast about my closing music to last week's podcast.
I did. No, of course I heard that. You told me you were going to do it. It was great. I thought I saw some good feedback about it. Thought it was really funny. Go if you haven't heard it. Rob sings a little ditty to the Frasier theme. If someone could clip that and post it on Twitter, I would appreciate it. But yeah, it was very funny. I liked it.
Anyway, so Barbie's like, what do I do? I'm gonna go to the real world. And then there was like a whole like all the good and bad of being human, and you know, the movie has a lot of heart. You know, I've been flipped in my review of it, but I thought it was a very well done. And the movie does have like a lot of heart, and talks about like, yeah, there's a lot of things that stink about life, but there's also a lot of things that are very beautiful about it. And Barbie opts to go and be into the real world. And Barbie ends up going into the real world. And then she ends up finding out, the Rhea Perlman, she's the lady that invented Barbie, apparently also they sort of like titillate you a little bit of that she also like got busted for tax evasion also, and they said that
Oh
that's
my.
like Helen Mirren's like, but that's the story for another movie. Maybe that's what
There's
the Amy
for
Schumer movie was
sure,
about.
for
Yeah.
sure going to be a sequel to this movie.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's really going to explore the Barbie
evasion?
creator tax evasion.
Probably not.
Yeah, Ruth Handler. That's how they got Al Capone for that.
Ruth Handler.
Ruth Handler. Yes,
Short for
she
something? Is that like
falsified
patriarchy?
financial documents. Yeah,
Damn.
and her daughter was named Barbara. Okay. Anyway, so that Barbie ends up going into the real world, and she says like she's like we see her, and they're like she's like who are you? She's like, I'm Barbara Handler, and like, well, what are you here for? She said, my gynecologist appointment. And boy, that gynecologist is like gonna like see like this is uncharted territory with Barbie.
I mean, is Barbie plastic in the movie?
I mean, Margot Robbie is, they don't do any sort of special effects, but she does tell some construction workers that she doesn't have genitalia.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I don't know what the gynecologist, maybe.
Ironically, Florence Pugh kept telling people she had genitalia.
And that's it. Well, that's our Barbenheimer weekend.
Wow. Imagine
did we save time. I mean, I think in the time it took me to record this podcast, could I have seen Oppenheimer? And I'm still up an hour.
No. You couldn't have even seen Barbie. We're like an hour 40. You couldn't have seen Barbie in this time. It's an hour 50. We saved you 3 hours this weekend. You could go, but go to a toy store.
Well, if people just did this, yeah. But no, Barbie I thought was very good. Ultimately, I felt like that Barbie was. I thought it was a little long. I know that, but I also recognize
you would have hated Oppenheimer.
I was not the target demo for Barbie, but I thought that it was very very well done.
Was the crowd lit? Was the crowd like very excited to see Barbie?
You know what?
I
didn't feel like that the crowd was like in palpitations. There were a lot of people that were there. A lot of women like there were in like Barbie t-shirts, but Akiva, I gotta be honest, okay? So this movie, like basically after 2 hours of like bashing the patriarchy, lights came up. I got out of there. I was like, I do not want to be like
a little bit of
in
walk
the way
of shame
of any of the women coming. I'm like, oh, like I ran for it. Like,
you think you were the only single man there?
I believe that was the case. Yes.
But do you think anyone was looking at you wondering, should you have worn a shirt that said I'm doing this for a podcast?
Side eye. Yeah. And then if like they were like, oh, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, I do a podcast with my other guy friend, and we're talking about Barbie tomorrow. That would have been
he got to go to Oppenheimer.
Limb from limb. I would not have gotten out alive.
It's true. You would have been, and it would have been the worst way to die because they would have been really angry.
Yes. But I did think it was, very.
I want to see it. I think you've sold me more on Barbie. Have I sold you on Oppenheimer? Do you think you will watch?
No, I will never see Oppenheimer. Now.
Wow, never.
I will never watch it.
What about I think that there's a couple scenes that are pretty good. But yeah, no, I respect it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe one day if it's on streaming, maybe I'll have it on, but. No, I had no interest in Oppenheimer before, and I have less interest. Not that you didn't do a good job of talking about it, but if people were like, your life will change from watching this movie.
I mean, I liked seeing Albert Einstein. I was like, that's Albert Einstein.
Yeah, but like, what do I need this story for? It's not like, I mean, did it change anything? Are you changed today?
I don't think I'm changed. I mean, I'm a little more tired.
More from watching Netflix Quarterback.
And how'd you change? Your opinion on Kirk Cousins is now better.
But just in terms of like the work ethic that these guys put in. So yeah, they didn't really explore what the NFL looks like in the Barbie world or anything like that. Didn't seem like there's a lot of other cities in the Barbie world. It seemed like it would just be like one town.
A little more provincial. I get it. How many?
Yeah. But overall, I think that Look, I don't know how much the Barbie movie can be spoiled. I'm sure, I think that you can go see it after hearing the plot outline, and then still very much enjoy it. It's like stylistically, it's like very well done. There's a lot of like funny moments. So I thought that Barbie was very good.
All right, this was awesome. I
Yeah.
enjoyed hearing about it.
A true better attend this weekend.
This is what Better Attend was meant to be. I hope they do another like dual feature type thing again, because it's fun to like go to the movies and have it feel like an event. Like Oppenheimer did feel like it was an event. People were very pumped. People were like clapping when it started. People partially because it's a 3-hour movie and the previews were like 30 something minutes. All the previews. I don't know if you got any good previews, Rob.
You know what? I came in late. That a lot of times I'm with, like, if I go to the movies, I'm with my wife, and she's always like, "We're gonna be late," and I'm like, look, I am, basically like you want to be like casually late to the movie. You don't want people to think you're a loser and you're just there. Like, I'm here for the start of the trailers. No, you come in casually late, and. I came in, I think I saw maybe one trailer. I had just been to Indiana Jones. I saw all the one trailer I saw, I think, was for the Haunted Mansion movie, which has Danny DeVito in it.
Nice
so synergy. Yeah, good synergy. But I already seen that trailer, so I was fine.
Yeah, I saw one, and it was for Nicolas Cage is like a bad guy who takes someone hostage.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Looks interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Will you be to the movies again this summer?
Well, I was thinking. I mean, I told my daughter we could still go to Barbie if she wants. I'd have to look at what else is out there, but I do love going to the movies. So I would be up for it if the right movie comes along.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's let us know. I'm trying to see what else is still to come this week, this rest of the summer.
It's pretty late in the summer for a blockbuster. Also, what's the Meg
2?
This is Meg Griffin.
No, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Boys, take the boys to see that maybe.
Yeah, I gotta see. They're not really super into Ninja Turtles just yet, but okay. All right.
Yeah, well, the movies have been flops.
Let's wrap this up. How do you think Sam is doing?
Sam's gonna have a great day. He said he's going. Wait, it is 10 a.m. He did say the movie's at 2:30.
No, he left because he didn't want to get spoiled. Akiva.
Got it.
Get to the movies.
Got it. Sam is he's gonna have a wonderful day. He told me before you came on, he's got AMC Plus, so he's seeing both movies today for like free base.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. He's gonna spend all his money on popcorn. Did you buy a snack at the movie theater?
No, I brought. I put this in my Instagram story. I brought in lately. This ties back to my road trip stuff. So I smuggled in. I pulled a Kel. I smuggled in a bag of beef jerky to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I really was, and I had a very nice weekend last weekend with my brother and sister. We went to. They were here Friday night, and we went on a road trip on Saturday. Just to recap from last week's podcast, but. I was out of control this past weekend, so I didn't want to and we're going away tonight, so I didn't want to just eat a big bag of popcorn by myself.
By the way, Oppenheimer, I forgot to mention, he always has to be reminded to eat. He's not an eater. They keep telling him to eat, or else he forgets.
Yeah. Whose job is that?
Like all the
Einstein.
That's like every famous scientist. Like that's how you meet him. He's like, "Hey, you haven't eaten in 2 days. Eat something." No, Einstein is pretty worried about himself. He's not telling him.
Yeah. But I smuggled in a bag of beef jerky, and look, it's hard to eat a bag of beef jerky fast.
That's an awesome movie snack. I'll give you 3 guesses. My daughter, I didn't bring any food to the movie theater. My daughter had a snack that she put in my knapsack so it wouldn't get noticed by.
Yes.
The ticket takers
let you bring a knapsack into the movie theater.
They're supposed to search it, but the guy whose job is just to search it was too busy giving me the code.
yeah, you had the code, so you got to bring it.
He did let me in. Normally you're not allowed in, or they'd search it. So do you want to guess? I'll give you 3 guesses. What food did my daughter bring in and eat during the 3-hour?
So she brought in food that could fit into a backpack.
Yes.
So can I get was it a meal or a snack?
doesn't fall perfectly under either of those categories.
Okay. Sushi.
No, it's a good guess, but no.
Meal or snack doesn't really fit into either category. Boy. Hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, that would have been stinky. No.
How about a Pop-Tart?
Okay, that's a good guess. No, that I guess would technically be a snack. She brought in a loaf of bread. We went out to dinner, which was like in a mall next to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Right beforehand, like an Italian type place. And they gave us we each ordered the same salad, which you're not supposed to order the same thing as the person you're with, but we did. And so they gave us like one, instead of like bread, they gave us like one huge loaf that you could cut, butter, whatever. And I said, I'm not eating bread right now, but if you want, you can have the whole
Take this
thing.
baguette into the movie theater.
She ordered a to-go bag, stuck the baguette into, and it was a baguette. It was like a full baguette into my bag, put it like under my like gym clothes or whatever from work, and snuck it in, and it was just munching on the whole loaf of bread the whole movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's could be a new trend.
A loaf,
baguette movie theater challenge.
Yes, if you're listening to this Friday afternoon,
the Barbie baguette.
Yeah, the Barbie baguette. Sneak us in any bread stuff you bring into the theater this week and tag Rob and I.
All right. Well, let us know if you enjoyed this podcast. Use the secret code word Oppenheimer to let us know you got to the end. Okay. And then Akiva, what's coming up for you?
We got a lot of stuff brewing. 32 Fans, we're about to start recording the 32 Fans in 32 Days episodes. We do have a this episode this week on the patron side. We drafted which teams we're going to cover. Alex and I each are responsible for recording 16 of the 32 podcasts, so we did that. We have a couple more episodes planned, and then we'll go to the I think August 7th. We start 32 days before the NFL season. Alex and myself, you, Mike Bloom, some other people are talking about a very cool Survivor themed fantasy football league where there would be a live tribal counts every week. People would vote each other out. We got some cool ideas. If you're interested in that, contact me, reach out, see my Twitter. We'll be casting for that soon. That's a fun idea. We'll try something new. And Gio off. We'll be back next week. What do you? A quarterback with you and Chappelle and Chester was very fun. What else you got going on?
Yes, that was last week on Nothing But Netflix, and then a bunch of fun stuff this past week, including we revisited Stars on Mars. With that, just what's going on. RobIsAWebsite.com. We're gonna watch the movie They Clone Tyrone. Netflix drop Nothing But Netflix this weekend. So lots of not my last movie of the weekend. All right.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And also Ask Dr. Christian Hubicki also dropped this week, and there was a little bit of Oppenheimer talk there.
You said it's the last movie of the weekend. Fall Out Boy hopefully will be a movie tonight also.
Yes, but more of a concert than a movie, I think.
Okay, cool.
Technically. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.